Right, now I've got that out of the way. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jake Kerr. This is a Black Ink podcast. Today I'm joined by Liam and Corey from Little Spencer, which is on Victoria Street.
Correct.
Yes. There's a beautiful little bakehouse / cafe, which since the first time I went in there, I was so, enamored with your sourdough bread. And the coffee's brilliant, obviously, but the sourdough just hooked me in.
What was you in?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So tell us a little bit about your business. Where did this all start?
So just over 2 years now. I think at the end of this month we did our very first school sports carnival event. So 2 years ago we started the coffee caravan.
Yep.
So always wanted a cafe. That was our kind of destination, our goal, and we wanted to make that very organic, very much involving the community. So we thought the best place to start is a coffee van.
Yep.
We're literally right in the heart of South Bunbury on Big Swamp. So we spent about 3 months fitting out the coffee van. So bought it completely gutted.
Just around the corner on Prosser Street, was it?
Yeah, so we drove past it one day. We were scrolling through like everyone else on Marketplace, like
Looking
fitted
for
out
it.
ones, non-fitted out ones, like ones you got to completely gut. Literally drove past our van,
That's
it was perfect.
Wild.
And
So good when you see something and you're like, that's it.
Yeah.
I can already feel it, I can see it. And when you've got that, it's so easy to execute on that idea.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
very much what we're about as well. Is like, when you see something that's like feels right, just do it.
Yeah, and it was obviously quite tall too. Clearance-wise inside was 2 meters, so I didn't have to duck. So that was pretty important for us.
Dude, if someone
I didn't do this in the van.
For 2 years, it was too short. Yeah, I know how important
Yeah.
that is. I know exactly how important
huge.
that is.
So then from there we did 6 months in the coffee van and did over summer.
Did you have any? So obviously you had the one spot that you're at every day.
Yeah.
On top of that, you also did like events, sports carnivals.
Yeah. So we did Bunbury markets from January onwards, and then we did sports carnivals. We kind of came into that perfect season where every school was doing their kind of lightning carnivals, their end of year sports carnivals. So I think we kind of ended up having 2 a week for a little bit, and just picking up every single one, like day's notice. We were like,
Sports carnival, you can just reel in like 200 cups in 4 hours.
Yeah,
literally.
It's crazy.
Yep, and you're usually the only one there, so everyone's coming to you for coffee. So it was a good learning experience.
You can actually have crap coffee and still make heaps of money.
Yeah,
it's good. So what were you running in the van? Was it just a 2-head machine?
Yes, just a 2 group. We started with a little old Saab coffee machine, and then upgraded to a Rocket Boxer, which was pretty cool.
Pretty good machine,
and ran that. That was kind of our goal. Start with something that we can then buy what we need straight away. So we invested our money in a good grinder. Had a Remarkably Zaga. So
that'd be a full auto.
Yeah, full auto. It doses by time and stuff, so it pre-grinds. And then you just put
essentially saves 30 seconds on making a coffee. Which was pretty important.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to pump out those cups. Because the last thing you want is people standing around going, "Fuck, there's like 15 people ahead of me." Literally. It's taking like 3 minutes of coffee, sort of thing.
Yeah. And then obviously it being just one of us or 2 of us, anything to save time and speed and improve your flow was really important. So we did that and upgraded to that, and we were kind of.
Did you own your machines? Always own them?
Yeah.
Interesting.
We've kind of always made it part of our whole philosophy, if you want to call it, to own as much as we can of our business. So if anything goes wrong, you've got assets to sell off, I guess. Not that we project failure, but always that backup plan.
Yeah, and also like, I don't know, before we buy anything or before we do anything, we search the hell out of it, so we know exactly what we're buying, what if like something goes wrong with something.
How it's going to
exactly
be fixed.
How to fix it.
Who to talk to if there is a serviceman around. Blah blah blah. Yeah. I think that that trap of like, I'm sure you've had Coca-Cola knock on your door and say, "Hey, we'll give you a machine. All you got to do is buy X amount of beans from us," which is a standard in the coffee industry. Is typically you don't own the machine and the grinder. Some big company does, under the understanding that you're going to buy their beans and all their stuff.
Yeah, even like with drinks fridges and everything like that as well.
Yeah.
So, with the current machine we've got, Yahava actually leased that to us, which we're doing like a lease to buy.
Okay.
And that was just to free up cash flow for. Obviously, it costs us a fair bit to do a whole fit out of a
and
shop.
a coffee machine's a bloody sting right at the start. Hey, if you want the machine you want, you're like, how much is a coffee machine worth?
So that machine's 11.5, and then grinder is like $3,000.
Let's go.
So
That's
15 grand
nuts.
straight away.
Considering it's like a boiler tank, some pipework, some solenoids, and some group heads. Hey, it's crazy. I know that machine in Townhouse when because Craig bought that. I'm pretty sure from day one.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the number was, but I remember when he told me, I'm like, bro, what are you fucking doing? That's like a car.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but a machine's all worth it. And he was right, you know, time showed that. So you were in the coffee van for how long?
6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Right.
And then our kind of goal was to get out of that before winter, because I guess you come into a lot of those environmental issues when it comes to coffee vans and winter, and you're having your generator out and that can't get wet. So we always set ourselves that goal that we'd be out of the van by winter, whether that meant we just close for the winter, go up north for the winter, have a shop by winter.
And we hadn't even started looking. Like, we were scrolling on Facebook and saw that the old Loca building on Southwest Highway came up for sale.
I think within 2 hours we were like, where do we sign? They're like, no, come have a look. I was like, no. Send the documents now. We'll sign it. Don't want anyone else to get it.
I can't believe how intuitively you make decisions. That's such a great thing. Like, I fully believe in the same thing. Like, you know, obviously behind the scenes a little bit here, we're running close to an hour and 15 minutes late because I had so many things go wrong this morning.
Yeah.
And when the third thing went wrong, I actually thought to myself, well, there's a reason. Just chill. It's all good. The podcast either will happen or won't happen. I was on my Harley and I thought there's probably a cop right up the corner here and I'm going to get done for speeding or something. So just take it as it comes, you know. That whole, and especially when you can, in business, listen to those things. You know, like, just stop and look around and go like, okay, what's actually going on here? Like, yeah, we're all ambitious and we all have these goals that we want to achieve, but sometimes we need to be held back, or sometimes we need to be pushed forward and like sped up a little bit. So I think that whole ability to be able to make those decisions intuitively and to be confident in those decisions, even when other people are saying like, what are you doing? You know, so
always,
I definitely
always goes back to us for what's the worst that can happen.
We have to sell our coffee machine. You know?
That's it. And everything's a learning experience for us, and we're always pushing for better and more, and you know, going that next step. And like we always kind of chatting before, that we're always projecting 6 months in advance, 12 months in advance. So we're always looking for that next step. Like, we started the van, we're already thinking about the shop. We started the second shop, or the first shop, and then we were thinking about the second location. That was always that drive. Like, we'll start in Picton, but we want to be in Bunbury. Like, that was our end game. And
well, let's not go too far into the. I want to really break down. So when you moved into that new location, that was a screen printing and cafe setup.
Right. So it was 50-50 in that space.
And you just turned it into an entire cafe setup. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Just had some storage as well.
Yeah, we used the old printing studio as like our storage, essentially. We did have a background in like clothing and printing, screen printing, so we thought we could jump back into that as well and reutilize that space, but we kind of
got too busy.
Got too busy and found the coffee was doing enough for us and the food.
Fuck decorating clothes.
Speaking
from experience, you've got to be wholly and solely just doing that.
You can't do both.
No. I think that's the mistake a lot of people make in clothing decoration, is they get into it and they realise that like, while I'm here I can do this, that and the other. And it's like, realistically, you need to just do that and hurt for a bit for 6 months or 12 months until it gets to a point where that is your primary income, and then obviously make it substantial from there. But it's really one of those things where I don't know what the crew before you were doing and how successful either side of the business was. But when I see something in screen printing or screen printing in something, I always go like, which one do we focus on? But it is what it is. So how long were you in that spot for?
14 months.
Yeah, 14 months. So at 12-month part, we opened the Bunbury store at 12 months, but we were there for months. 18? 14 months. Somewhere between there.
In total, it was 14 months, because we had a bit of a layover between when the new people bought that from us and us completely shifting to Bunbury store.
So did you have a metric of? Do you have a metric that kind of shows the sort of growth you had? Like, do you know the cups per day you were doing when you started compared to when you
in Picton? I think we kind of started at about 100 120 coffees.
Yeah, 120 coffees, and then
We were pretty much at 250 by the time we
wow.
left.
we left there.
Yeah,
That's
a day.
insane for a year of growth.
Yeah,
That's so good.
yeah, we
And
pretty much doubled the business while
Is
we were
it
there.
just the people that are around that area? Or do you find there was people?
People were coming from Bunbury.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we were very fortunate that we had the Outer Ring Road commence, I think, 4 months after we opened as well. So there was 200 workers at our doorstep,
True.
pretty much. So that was a big benefit to being in that area. There's a lot of business going on. Like, that industrial area is huge anyway.
Yeah.
But adding all of that extra work
It's
and
just
catering
bring on
onto
top.
that was just
And I guess going back to the start of that as well, we saw that there was a need for like specialty coffee
Yeah.
around the area.
Yeah, for sure.
So you've got paper out, but you know they can only handle so many customers as well. They
And
were quite
also
busy.
Paper out's a bit different as well because I feel like you're on more of an artery, whereas they're on,
Yeah.
you kind of have to go in and then up and then into the thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like you're kind of just like pull out the front, duck in, duck out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Keep
people love
going.
that convenience and being able to just get straight there. Like, a lot of the cafes in town struggle with that because parking's an issue. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
that's
fact you
probably-
can pull up in front of the front door and walk in, get a coffee and leave.
Big deal.
Mm.
That's probably the
Huge.
biggest thing we've learnt in the past 2 years is convenience. It's key.
Efficiency is the thing you're actually selling.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
the specialty coffee is kind of the byproduct of that, I feel.
Yep.
And like even this new thing that I'm building, it's like realistically it's not the uniform that I'm selling, it's that I come to you.
Yep.
I have all the samples on board, I have all the sizes on board, we can do everything right here, right now, and then all you have to do is pay your bill and I'll rock up with some uniforms.
Yeah.
So
People are
it's
too
like,
busy.
everyone's too busy. Everyone's too busy. And especially like when you talk about you're very B2C, whereas I feel like I'm more B2B in general. And when you're dealing with other businesses, man, if you can solve problems, they'll give you whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, you can take this off my plate, whatever it's worth to you, here's the money, you know? So, especially when it comes to people on their way to work as well, because no one leaves on time for work.
No.
You know? It's like they're allowing 5 minutes to pick up that coffee when they should have allowed 10 or 15. You
Yeah.
know? So,
And that was why it was important for us to work on developing our app as well, to integrate with our Square systems to make it convenient for people.
yeah. So you've got an app.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's news to me. We'll come back to that. I like the system you've got where it registers your card in your system and then it just collects points automatically.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't have to carry the little card that you're going to stamp every time.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I haven't seen it before. I hadn't even heard of it before you guys have done it. So that's really cool.
Yeah, Square's really good like that. They've got a lot of programs and software you can integrate that with. And, it's like, so where our app comes in with that, it's still connected through our Square, and you can like preload money, kind of like the Starbucks model where
Interesting.
they invest their money first and then they pay it back. So we get the lump sum,
Oh, okay.
and then they can use that money to buy coffees over.
Right.
as
And is
many
there a situation where
visits.
they can book their, what do you call it, like, they're going to come at 8 and their coffee's going to be ready to go?
Yep, yeah. So you can set it
Yeah,
as
wow.
like ASAP or 8:30 if it's
Oh,
you've
that's
just
so
woken
rad.
up. You like pre-order your coffee for when you're meant to leave, and then
And your
It's ready.
fucking your chocolate croissant and all
Yep.
this. Oh, dude, that's dangerous. That's bad. That's like almost a little bit better than Amazon Prime, hey?
yeah.
That's so good.
We don't do the croissants like available online order at
Yeah.
the moment, just because controlling growth and quality as well. Quality is the most important thing to us. So.
And they're not always out at the right time at the same time every
Yeah.
day. So it's a bit hard to put something like that has so many variables, but
Yeah, very
everything
true.
else is. And it makes it super convenient for people. And an app on your phone versus having to go into a web browser,
Yeah.
type in
All the stuff.
littlespencer.com.au, then go into our ordering. And then that was like it wasn't really a time-consuming process, but to eliminate that, and someone just swipes a page, presses on it, and then
100%.
places your last order, you can place that again, and
Yeah, literally you open our
Go.
app. Here's what you ordered last time. Do you want that again?
Tell me there's a notification that hits 5 minutes before they normally order anyway. It says, hey, are you going to be ordering this, this, and this today? Do you have that in your app?
It's in the app. Yeah, it comes in. Oh, this is what you ordered last time.
Yeah.
So, do you want to add that to your cart?
Oh, man.
So it's
like-
pretty cool.
Macca's knows that we get coffees typically, on a weekday. And when we're there, we get the ham and cheese toasty and that. So now it's like all your specials are based around what you get. And they send you the specials 25 minutes before you leave home. It's like, you sons of bitches.
Yeah.
Just take my money, you know? So annoying. But, I mean, it's one of those things, if you can add efficiency to the process, you'll make money.
yeah,
It's that simple. I mean, even on my Shopify pages, if I can go, instead of you selecting something and then going to your cart and then reviewing the order, and then putting the money in. It's like, you know, one-click buyers.
Just let me pay for it.
Yeah. I don't want to. Yes, I'm sure I want this. I'm sure because I'm here and doing it right now. You know.
If you give me too long to think about it, I'll change my mind.
Exactly right. And how many times have you been somewhere where you know, say Kmart, you walk into Kmart, you automatically go to the homeware section on the left there, and you grab you grab the thing, and you're like, yeah, we definitely need this. But by the time you've done the loop, you're like, I don't need a fucking strainer. Like, what am I doing? You know, so you put that back and you just take this 19 Hot Wheels that you've got and buy them instead, you know?
The important stuff.
Yeah, the real important stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's interesting. Did you have all the baked goods at the Picton location?
No, so that was, the whole concept was pretty much built off of, we had a couple of pastry chefs apply for a kitchen hand roll.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was never in the original vision to do the pastries, but having qualified people just kind of fall in our lap.
Just look at each other and we're like, we have to. Like,
yeah.
Nowhere else is doing it. Why?
You think what I'm thinking? Pastry?
Literally. So, and that kind of was the catalyst for it all, essentially. Yeah. We were looking for that space. Like, we wanted a cafe in town. We didn't know what that was going to look like or how that was going to go or where. And then we kind of wanted to originally adopt almost the same model, like not do sit-down breakfast, which we originally did for the first couple of months while we found our feet.
Oh, true, because, that's true. You're, if I like generalize it, you tell me if I'm wrong here, everything is just like a plate with a piece of paper with something on top.
Yep.
Right. And is there much cutlery involved in what you do at the moment?
So there is now, we've got done in like proper ceramic plates and things, but that whole first vision was, the stainless steel pizza plates and toasties and burgers, just real casual dining. And then you kind of got to respond to your customers and listen.
Absolutely,
And that was what was missing, or people wanted eggs on toast, or
that's creating a sense of ownership as well. That we wanted to see what people in the area wanted as well. We knew that we would eventually have to add some bigger food items, but we don't want to overcomplicate it either. We believe in like simple done well. So
and also it's one of those things where you kind of want like 5 things on the menu that are epic, instead of having 20 things on the menu that you have like one bestseller and everything else is just you know,
just there.
avocado smash or bullshit, you know. So what's the most bougie thing you've got on the menu today?
Probably our bakehouse Benny, I reckon.
Yeah,
Benny?
The bakehouse Benny, because we do it on a croissant. So fresh baked croissant, it's like satay pulled brisket on there.
Oh damn, dude.
Like a spiced hollandaise.
You get halfway through, you're like, my fucking heart hurts.
Yeah, literally.
I look at it and my body does that.
Yeah, it's huge.
Damn. Okay.
That's pretty indulgent.
It's something different as well. So.
Yeah, well, that's that's the battle that you go through having a kitchen, isn't it? It's like everyone in town has bacon and eggs.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, how do we take this thing that people want, you know, Benny's something that people want, and make it our own?
Yeah.
So interesting. Okay, so we're at 250 cups a day. You're in Picton. You've had your pastry chefs walk in, and all this is starting to cook. And how do you transform that into getting into the new space and like filling it out? What happened there? What's the process?
Madness.
A very quick 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we got the keys, and 2 weeks after that we opened.
Yeah.
So we did the full fit out ourselves. We knew this process was happening, so we started hiring for the potential of having another shop. So we didn't really know if it was going to go ahead. We weren't going to go ahead with another shop, but we were like, stuff it, let's just put out ads and we'll hire. So 6 months out we were hiring for something we didn't know was going to happen.
Went and hired 8 people. I think that'd be plenty.
Yeah. And now, we were saying before, you've got 24?
24 now,
Wow.
So that was huge.
Crazy.
So we're very grateful we decided to make that decision to hire early, because we had everyone we needed to open the doors. And it wasn't like you kind of waited till you had the keys, you were done, you fit out, and then start hiring, and then be like a 2-month lag of having the right people. So that was kind of that next transition step for us. And so we pretty much had them all staffing our Picton store and running that and training that while we were doing the fit out. So we did the full fit out ourselves, minus the appropriate trades where needed. So that one saved us a lot of time, which meant we could do that really quick turnaround. And
That way we knew where everything was, why everything was where it was.
That's a big deal, hey. Yeah. You know, it's I find it like if I get a new piece of equipment, it's like I just want 6 hours to make all the stuff up, you know, get it running right, understand it. So then when you're teaching someone, they go, oh, this happened. You're like, yep. You need to do this. This is how we fix that problem, blah, blah, blah.
How can I teach someone if I don't understand it?
Yeah, exactly right. And the last thing you want is, like, the thing I kind of fear with all these pieces of equipment that I have, if I hire someone and they become more knowledgeable than me on this thing and then they disappear, well, dickhead, you know, like I let this happen, you know? So it sounds like you've got a lot of wisdom behind, like, these decisions that you're making. I mean, hiring staff ahead of time is such a, like, what would you call it? It's definitely like a risky move because obviously you're paying these people every week. You're relying on them, being good staff members and all the rest. But knowing that you're kind of going there, I mean, do either of you have a real business background, or is this just kind of assumptions that you're making on the fly?
Assumptions
on the fly. Gut feeling as well.
Yeah. We're usually pretty good at, I guess, that whole manifesting thing and making things happen that we want. We're always, you know, we'll think about it now, it'll happen in kind of 12 months or 6 months or 2 weeks.
Normies don't want to hear that, eh? Normies do not want to hear that. Or you just fucking think about it. It's like, yeah, dude, I fully just picture it and then it fucking appears. I'm sorry, it's just how the world works. You know, we're living in a simulation, I guess.
Yeah. I had a background of, like, I did management in IGA back in Victoria, back at the head store. And then I was in communications in the Navy, so that's why I moved over here. So, yes, I had a little bit of a background in people management.
You've also got two situations where you've got a very, like, broad understanding of systems. Yeah, because obviously, like, things like IGA, fast food's another good example. That's like, they set up processes and systems so that anyone can be hired, fall into that system. Then you go, here is your job. Here's your job role. Here's what's expected of you. Here's how it's going to work. Here's how we, you know, conflict resolution and all the rest. So being able to apply that into your like, you know, thing that's now your baby, I guess, is a pretty big skill. Do you... Sorry, what were you going to say?
You said that and I was just like, oh, fuck. Yeah, like, that kind of goes back to that, like, without me even realising that.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny, like, I look at a lot of problem solving that I do now, and every now and then, you know, you deal with a new problem and you go, like, it sounds like I'm being cocky, but when I solve a problem, I go, like, how'd you figure that out, big dog? How'd you do that? And you go, well, actually, it kind of ties back to when I was, like, a truck driver, or when I was an athlete, or when I was this, and you find that the conglomeration of all your past experiences, if you're really using them as assets, will help you in these things in the future. And it's like business realistically is, you know, we're talking about before, it's like a bunch of processes. You know, it's like a bunch of things where it's like, right, I know how to learn a new skill. I know how to apply that skill. I know how to teach someone else that skill. So I just go back and go, okay, well, how was I taught? What were the systems that I fell into? How did they apply to the things that I was doing? And I remember when I got hired at Dome, the reason they hired me is because I came out of HJ's. I said, well, why would you hire someone who flips burgers? I said, no, you know how to follow a system. It's like, oh, right. And you guys just have a business system. Oh, yeah, okay, cool, I get it.
Makes sense.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. So have you got anything interesting there that you'd say you kind of, in the past that you...
Well, I've come from the cafe scene, I guess, since I was at school, left school. So being in that side, I guess, seeing where other businesses have gone wrong, like looking at it from that kind of perspective of knowing what I would want to do in my own business and how I'd want to run it. Got into kind of supervisor management roles in different cafes along the way, like the last two before we started ours. And that definitely I learned a lot about staffing, how to look after them and how to look after the business and what the importance of creating community and that connection with your customer and
big deal.
Yeah, how you got to be connected, you got to be the face of business, you got to be in the business.
Yeah, people want to see you. People want to chat to you.
100%. It's funny because it's cool when you're there and doing it and you get there like, oh, how you going, Rob? Yeah, no, kids are good. There's that part, and there's also walking into Cold Stone on a Thursday night and they see you and you're like, fucking leave me alone.
You can't go anywhere.
You know, you go up to Perth and you think you're escaping and it's like, no, they'll get you there as well.
Yeah,
they'll get you there.
Someone will find you.
Yeah. You literally have to like leave the state or country to get a real break, you know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but I think you're correct. I've not going to name names. I don't think he listens to the podcast, but I'm not going to name names. But I do know someone who was in a position where they built a very similar thing and kind of resented the fact they were the face of the business. It's like, I don't want this. You know, it's like, I know, but at the heart of this, you know, the why of your business is actually you.
Yeah.
People want to support you. You know, the coffee, again, it's a byproduct. The experience is a byproduct. There's this person that they believe in what you believe in, and that's why they show up day after day after day.
Yeah.
You know? So it's really interesting that face of the business, and like speaking as the Black Ink guy, you know, like I walk around Fitzy's and they're like, Black Ink. Yes.
What's Black Ink?
That's high.
Jade.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's like I've kind of built, it's like my artistic journey, you know, is what Black Ink is. And as anytime I try and steer away from that, I stop getting the results. Yeah. You know, it's like, no. That's the thing. That's the thing you built. You know, if you want to be a face of this thing, go trade stocks. Yep. Go be a crypto guy. Yep. You know, go do something that has no face. But in the game, in the industries that we're in, really not just understanding that you're the face, but building on being the face of something. It's like, fuck yeah, be there. Yeah. Be there from 6 a.m. till 11 a.m. every day, so people can go, that's my guy. You know? Yeah. It's really interesting. I think what you were saying before as well, growing up in cafes, because I had a bit of a hospitality background as well, a big thing is understanding what staff appreciate and don't appreciate, and building that environment for them. So it's like, right, I know it's important to you. You know, I know that to begin with, a staff member in hospitality is typically someone who, I'm not going to say isn't educated, but isn't in higher education. There's someone who, you know, they're understanding that they have to work weekends, but they also want their weekends. So it's like creating situations for these people where they feel like they're appreciated and their time is valuable and, you know, in and out of the business.
Yeah. 100%. And yeah, it's all about that balance. Like, you can't just expect someone to work their ass off for nothing. Like, it's always about, you kind of got to give, and it's a delicate balance. Like, you got to show that appreciation by giving them like that weekend off, or by, you know, supporting them in a different way. Or
100%.
People's lives aren't your life. Like, our life is our business. That's not, an employee is an employee for a reason. Like, they're not there to give you all of them. So
100%. I think also there's an understanding that, like, and I fall into this trap all the time. It's like, I take my shit really seriously. Like, I live and breathe what I do. Most people don't do that. You know, most people who, and this is like most people have a job to make money. You know, and it's like, you try and, I don't know if you have this experience, but like, I even try and explain to the 2 staff members that I have, like, why this is important. You know, it's because if we don't get this right, I won't fucking sleep tonight, all right? It's not because of the customer or whatever, it's because it's really important to me, but it's not that important. You know?
They're like, yeah, cool.
Well, that's great, Jake. Tell me how that goes. I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll probably be late, so fuck you, you know? But, right, so let's go to, you've moved into the new spot. One of the first things that caught my eye, because obviously I fell in love with the sourdough that day I came in. Now, that was that fresh that you didn't have that wall painted yet. Like, it was still, you know, just filled the cabinets, had people there, had good coffee, and that was kind of the heart of the business at the moment. So tell me, from there, what started happening? What are the exciting moments from there?
From day one, it was just busy. Like, the community support from, like, our whole journey, people from Bunbury getting behind us, supporting us. We were part of their community. Like, we knew everyone who was coming in, and I think it was that excitement and the energy that came when we opened. It was like all those people could finally come to us again who, you know, didn't want to go all the way out to Picton because it was so far away.
They were coming to us at the van, so they were excited as well.
It was,
So you would have had customers that there was a gap, that they were van
didn't
customers.
come to us for a year and then came
all
back.
Of a sudden they're like, oh, look at this house you've got, you know?
Pretty much. And like, we were pretty much in tears at the end of the week.
I remember even on the first day, we like both just took a moment, like, we're outside and looked at each other and we're just like, what the fuck?
Just like, what have we, like, this
so
is just,
cool.
it was like a full circle kind of moment. It was really cool.
That is really cool.
And there's just a few times we were just like, just doing this, like, pinch yourself kind of moments of like, all these people, and you knew every single person who came in that door too, like, and they're all like, oh my god, hi! Like, they were so excited to see us, and we were too, and it was just super cool. Like,
you would still be having those moments now where you look around the cafe and you're like, what's going on? That's so cool.
Like
every day.
Even still now, but you know, in those first weeks, you were seeing like groups of people sitting down, and then someone would walk in and they'd know them, so they'd strike a conversation and be like, oh my god, you're here, and it was just this beautiful little community that created where every table knew someone else. They were all chatting, like people waiting for coffees knew someone else, so they, you know, walked over and had conversations with us, and
that was probably the most like reassuring thing for us as well, is because our whole purpose of this was to create a little community as well, and to see that happening so quickly was just like,
it's pretty cool.
Interesting. It's such good, like that is like, obviously the money, the bottom line is the feedback, but the real like atmosphere, like the value of that atmosphere, that's feedback as well. It's like, you know, I've gone in there. To be honest with you, I don't like public situations. I fucking hate them. I'm just like, I get overwhelmed so quickly. Usually I'm stoned. I'm just not interested. But I'll go in there and it's like, oh, you know someone behind the counter. It's like, oh, fucking he's here as well. And oh, such and such has got their dog and they're coming. And all of a sudden, it's like you got a group of 5 people around you. I know exactly what you're talking about because I've had that multiple times there.
Yeah.
And it's a cool thing because I feel like that spot, again, I'm not going to name names, was somewhere else a short while ago. And that spot kind of evaporated for whatever reason. And it did feel like there was a little bit of a void there for, especially the people that I would typically run into and drink coffee with and like, you know, have that experience with. And now it's like organically and seemingly overnight has just become...
They're all there. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You've also expanded out into that area off the side as well.
Yeah, so
into the park.
Council have probably been one of our biggest supporters as well. Like, all we've had is support from them. Like, pretty much have said, you know, the park's there. We want to see this space activated. We want to see this end of town activated.
True.
So,
they've got that event on there.
Yeah, good nights are there end of November.
Yeah, end of November. 25th of November.
Very cool. So Great Gable's doing a fucking acoustic set.
It's going to be pretty cool.
That's going to be such a vibe, I reckon.
Yeah. And we're part of it.
Yeah, we'll be doing some food and some drinks for it as well.
Yeah.
They're organising some alcohol through Fringe as well.
Yeah.
This is Joe O'Day, so she's helping organise that as well. So
interesting.
We can't wait.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, and then we've got a few events lined up with Fringe as well. So we're just trying to do everything we can to activate that space and get people using that park. And
for sure,
because it's such a good pretty spot awesome.
As well. I have seen a couple unsavoury characters hanging out there sometimes. I'm not going to talk about it on the podcast, so I think.
You get that everywhere.
It does. You know, that's actually a good indication of the size of Bunbury, like the population of Bunbury, because like unsavoury characters present themselves publicly when there's enough people to create amenity.
Yes.
You know, and it's like when they feel comfortable there, it's like, oh, we've actually got some people in this place.
Yeah.
Like that's nice, you know. And also that end of town kind of needs a little bit of spark, a little bit of reactivation. So you probably find that, like, you know, the more unsavory characters you get, the less unsavory characters you get.
And I guess for us as well, that goes back to creating community. That is creating a community for them as well.
100%. So where's this go? Like you book 6 months in advance. What's 5 years from now look like, do you think?
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time for us. I really don't know. The next phase for us is an external baking space, so we can improve our range and offer more bread and offer more pastries and kind of explore a different creative side of Little Spencer and in a different capacity. So that's our next step, and I think after that I can't see anything else. Like we're very set on getting this up and running and getting that created. So
you always don't want to overload with too many good ideas.
Yeah, that's it. Like we always project, but we keep it very clear, like our vision. So we're not clouding it with 3 little side projects. It's 100%. One very strong, this is happening, this is how can we get this to happen and how quickly.
And then when the feeling's right is when you do it. Like,
so probably wait till that opens 2 weeks later, then there'll be something else. But
for sure. So as soon as it's just running well enough, you're like, right, that's done, let's go.
Yeah.
So, okay, are you readers? You read a lot?
No, should be.
I read a lot online though, not paperbacks or not books, but I do a lot of reading online.
Interesting. Just with like a lot of the language you're using, it sounds like you've had similar exposure to the sort of, I don't want to say self-help, it's more like somewhere between self-help and business sort of like literature. Because like even the manifestation, like that's I first learned it as an athlete, and now as an athlete, it's simple. It's like, I want to win. It's like, cool, see yourself winning. Because if you can see yourself winning, it's easy to actualize it because you've already been there.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get into business, like, sweet, I want to be a millionaire. Well, what does that look like? Not just driving the car and all that, but what does it look like day to day?
Yeah.
You know, and then being able to go, okay, there's day 100. Well, day 99 would be this, and 98. You work all the way back to like, okay, well, today,
let's go.
I need to do this.
Yeah.
You know, because it's, if I get this out of the way, then day 2, then day 3, and then all of a sudden we're at day 100.
Yeah.
If I could be a millionaire in 100 days, that'd be sick. But you understand the metaphor that I'm using.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say is your kind of like guides or inspiration, or like, I mean, I kind of already asked this question, I think, but yeah, I feel like is there something there that you are dwelling off that helps with that forward projection at all?
We just have them for us.
We're very driven to be like, I guess, somewhat financially independent as well, and to kind of just push the boundaries of what we can do, and you know, retire early essentially. Like work hard now, so like work hard, play hard kind of thing, without being like 100%. That. And we just, why not put as much in as we can now to enjoy life? Like, you know, there's no reason why I can't be retired by 30. Like I'm 23 right now.
Yeah, why not? Absolutely.
I'm still
that's
like,
the goal, so.
Yeah.
Would you say that you may be working too hard at the moment?
No.
Interesting.
24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
I have this this constant conversation with people who are at the same, pretty much everyone who's in business. I love this conversation where it's like, okay, well, how hard should we be working? Because I've said I work at home, so it's a very different environment that I have to really like control. Otherwise, I'll lose my missus, and I'll lose my dog, and I'll lose my 30s, you know, because it's so easy just to like, last night after we finished dinner, I'm like, I'm just going to send an email. I stayed 3 hours out here. You know? So I feel like there is a threshold somewhere, but in 10 years time, I'm not going to have this vigor. I'm not going to have this energy and this like real just like, that I need to get shit done. So I see it as, if I work really hard now, then by the time I'm 40, there'll be no need to spend 3 hours sending emails, you know? And like, I'm not, you know, I joke about trying to be a millionaire and all that. I'm just trying to have enough money that I can go to the shops and buy the shit. You can go to the restaurant, you can buy anything, you know. And you
just
can
be comfortable.
It's Tuesday morning and Dad says you want to get coffee, and you're like, yeah, fuck yeah, I do. You know, like, that's rich. That's wealthy, you know. So I think, I mean, I'm the same attitude. There's 24 hours in a day. As long as it doesn't come at the expense of the things that are important now and moving forward, just work. Just work, you know.
I think there's so much to learn as well. Like, and I guess those close to us around us, our friends and family, like, they know we're busy. And they know that we still make time to see them and do things with them as well. So.
I think as long as that priority set, hey,
you
know, it's like, okay, we in that bandwidth that we have, like, okay, have we been with our family this week? Have we done this? Have we sat down and had a meal? Have we, you know? But if you feel those X, Y, Z, it's like every other minute of the day, let's appropriate it to something and just get down to it.
And I think, like, being in this like kind of cafe industry, it kind of gives you a lot more of that flexibility, because like, and especially having a shop, you work within your business hours as well, like very much so. I'm sure we work really early and we do all that, but it gives you a lot of freedom. Like, you're being creative while you're there all the time. So it's not really working for us in a way. Like, we're doing a lot, we're growing the business, we're like doing everything back of house and things, but there's always time to stop for 5 minutes. Like, our family come in all the time, and you stop and you have that coffee, like you said, or you take those little moments where you can, because you know you can, and you've got people behind you to let you step away and do those things. Like, and but we'll always, if family need us, we'll step away, we'll do that. We won't sacrifice that time.
The definition of work is also important, you know, because like before, I obviously had a coffee van for 4 years, and then sold that, and I had enough money to kind of like just be a person, not be like an employee. I could just be a person for a bit, and then when that ran out, I was like, oh, I need a job, and be one of those people. And then work was this thing that started at 5 a.m. and finished at 5 p.m. And it meant that, like, you know, if you want to step away from it, it's like, well, that is now sick time, or it's, you know, personal leave, or whatever it is. And all of a sudden, work actually turns into this, like, obligation, which then has this negative thing tied to it, you know? So then you go, okay, well, if the definition of work for me is this negative thing, that's like I'm swapping my life for money, you know, for gold coins that I can go and do things with, well, then that changes how you perceive what work is. So now when I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning inspired and I come out here and I design something because I saw it in a fucking dream, and then 2 hours later I turn it into a t-shirt and then I go and take a video with it and then I'm selling that product. Was I working?
Yeah.
Was that work? Because I didn't hate any part of that.
Yeah.
You know, the whole time I'm like putting it together, I'm like, oh my God, I did it in yellow. It looks even better than red. And, you know, like that's not really work. So that definition of what work is then changes. So I think that ability to be able to like, what's the word? Like the perspective of what you're doing. And they say, you know, like if you love what you're doing, you never work a day in your life. I don't believe that 100%, but it's on the right path.
Yeah.
You know?
You kept saying work then. And every time you said work, I was like, I don't feel like we're working.
No,
that's not.
Yeah, I think I think when you really enjoy what you're doing and being around those people that are around you, like, I don't know, I find it hard to define work.
Yeah, 100%. It's you living. You're just living, you know? And it's cool when I don't know if you remember the first day you kind of realised you had enough money to just live. Like, you know, I've had a few of those moments because, you know, the plane gets up into the air and then you have to make a big spend or something happens and the belly of the plane starts scratching on the ground, you pick up again. But, you know, it's like sometimes I can't believe that I don't have to go somewhere and listen to someone tell me what to do, you know? And it's like, none of this is work anymore. None of this is work, you know. Customer calls you like, "Can you do this?" I'm like, "Yeah,
sure,
okay, yeah, interesting, yeah, okay, let's talk about it," you know.
And it's crazy when you have like those encounters or conversations with customers. They're so shocked when you're like, "Yeah, I'll do that now." Like, they're so used to people saying, "Oh, yeah, I'll get around to it." Like, I'll get back to you in 2 business days or whatever it is. Like, people are shocked.
It's funny actually. I had a conversation with a customer yesterday about that. They want a logo redraw, sign writing for a fleet of 10 plus a truck, so 11, and a complete new set of uniforms for all their staff, which I think have however many staff they have. So, you know, 5 shirts each. I'm like, I'll be able to do the logo redraw by like Friday morning. I'll be able to, once we've got the logo, the sign writing's like a 48-hour process, and then the uniforms is basically however long it takes to get here. He's like, so when could it all be done? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe not the end of next week, the beginning of the next one. He's like, really? Yeah. I said, yeah, well, I can't really do it much quicker than that. He goes, that's fucking crazy. I'll be waiting 6 weeks to get a logo redrawn.
Literally.
Like, yeah, man. You fucking with some serious players now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. And, you know, like, I think the ability to turn things around quickly leans on the fact that it's not work for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's
100%.
just like all we're doing is flexing this skill that we keep learning. So it, you know, it is what it is.
And like, sure, you need money to live, but for us, money is just like a side thing to that. Like, we're doing the shop and what we are doing because we love what we're doing, and we love being around people and having conversations with people. So yeah, we all need money, but yeah, for us, it's more about those interactions that we're having with people.
I think also you have to remember, like, most people don't have the experience of like what we're talking about is very alien. You know, it's like if you said to someone like, I always go back to this analogy. So say you got your Monday to Friday 9 to 5, and I said, okay, I'm going to give you enough money to live for the next month, whatever that costs, $600, $800 a week times 4. I'm going to give you that right now. You now have Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, to figure out how to sustain that income. Do you think you could figure it out?
What the fuck am I going to do?
Can you go to garage sales and buy shit and sell it online? You know, can you go online and YouTube how to make money? Can you figure out how to drop ship? Can you figure out how to make a product? Like, I love the concept. Like my dad does this, right? He goes, I don't know what to do with all my time. I'm like, bro, go and buy 2 coffees and go into the first business you see and go, so how does your business operate? What are your pain points? What is a problem that I can solve for you? What's some efficiency that you need? Because there's $1 million in that conversation. You just got to pull it out. You just got to weed it out, you know? And that's every single business has those needs, has those pain points. It's just the ability to like, okay, I need to learn how to have that conversation. I need to learn how to execute on these ideas. And it's like literally the difference between working, hating that thing that you're doing, that we're calling work, and living, which is what we're doing, is skill acquisition, communication, and execution. That's all it is.
100%.
And it's like whether it's fucking painting cars is pretty specific, but you know, whether it's whatever it is, you know, like even can we buy 100 of these or 1,000 of these off Alibaba and 1,000 of these, put them together and sell them at the markets?
Most definitely.
You know, like how easy is that? I mean, I bought this from Kmart for, $7. You're telling me that costs $7 to make? That costs 35 cents to make,
Yep. That's expensive.
Probably less than that.
Yeah. And I mean, the truth is you could probably buy this from Kmart, paint it, and then put 200% on it and still make money.
Yeah.
You know? It's like
convenience.
Convenience. Before we wrap this up, tell me about the markets, Bunbury markets, because you said you were there, you were regulars at the markets.
Yeah.
Were you the only coffee van at the markets, or was there others?
There was one other van. Yeah, so I only ever have two.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the Nitro coffee guy.
Kuza.
Yeah. So he was actually originally a customer of mine.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he worked at one of the paint shops. And then he went and started his own van. I remember when he started, I'm like, he'll be for 10 minutes, he won't last. Yeah. He outlasted me, didn't he?
Yeah, he's been going for a while now.
Yeah.
He's coffee roaster,
yeah. Oh, he also roasts his beans.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is there many other coffee roasters in town, do you know?
I think it's just Mark.
Yeah, there might be one other, I think, but Bunbury, not really kind of pushed that scene.
Yeah, that's one of those things you really have to, fuck with it to do it properly, hey?
Yes. And spend a lot.
Setup costs for that. We've looked into it, but you've got to put a lot of time to it as well.
Yeah,
so.
And be willing to throw out a lot of beans.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of learning to do.
I think it's because it's one of those things where you always have to be adjusting to your outside environment.
Yeah.
So it's like if your humidity's up or whatever's up, you have to adjust that over here, so you can't just run the same settings over and over and over. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bizarre. Oh, good on him. Obviously, he's figuring it out and doing the thing. And I know his Nitro coffee is fairly... Am I saying... Is that where they put it through nitrogen or something?
Yeah. So
I
couldn't name a place in town or even local that you can get Nitro. So he's probably the only one that is doing that as well.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. Would you ever do... or do you think there's a market for pour over cold brew sort of deal? Or?
Yeah, we do cold brew. I think... One of our visions for this current shop was to have this cool little kind of pour over V60 Chemex kind of bar,
very cool.
Cold drip, all that.
Where you come and pay your cups worth of stuff and then you fill it up yourself, and you're part of the process to do that as well.
I think there's definitely a market for that. Hey?
Yeah, we're kind of unsure because we found there's a few places who have done it and pulled it away.
Yeah. As
well, I think there's a long way to go in Bunbury for that big enough of a demand for that kind of coffee culture. I think it's definitely there, and there's a lot of people, especially people at home, home brewers and stuff, doing all of that. All of that. But that kind of next step of educating the majority of people who get extra large, flat white and all that, educating them to go, okay, come to this, come to the dark side, come try black filter and all this.
And that's our goal with going into another space as well and doing more events with Fringe and stuff like that, is to help to start to educate people behind the cup of coffee they're drinking. And
I think the cool part is when you educate, you champion.
Yeah.
So it's there'll be people, say, if fast forward 2 years down the track, if you execute it now, they'd believe that you invented cold brew.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. It's kind of the thing that we get living in a population of 100,000, including greater surrounds. That there's so many, I'm the vinyl heat press guy. It's not at all new technology. No. There's people that come to me how'd you figure this out? I watched a YouTube video. You know, I'm not the guy. I'm just someone who was the first to see. So I think if you can kind of corner that market by first the education, then the consistent, you're going to have that lull where people first fuck with it and they go, I don't really like cold black coffee, and then pull through to the other side. But again,
it's so good.
Yeah, you would have. The old, I don't know how old they are, the big tall ones where you put the ice in the top. And
the big cold drip and
that's still a thing, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what we want to bring in. We're kind of in part of that. We're doing a kind of an event with Fringe. It's going to be with Cuppa as well. Work on some coffee liqueurs with them and some kind of espresso martini classes. So. As part of that, we want to do cold drip and get that and utilise our single origins and
for sure
develop something with them. So
Rory be all over the emails.
Oh yeah,
he's frothy. He loves them. I always love seeing a Sunday morning. You'll have an email review from the night before, and he does not hold back as well. He'll let you know if it's shit.
Yeah,
let's go, Rory.
I appreciate people when they let you know something is shit as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Tell me.
You know what sucks? I did those. I think the original way. we kind of touched base was those coffee reviews I was doing.
Yeah.
And Bunbury's too small to give a bad review. You know, it really is. I would really focus on highlighting what was good about a coffee. And then if there was something that I didn't fuck with, it's like, it's a 5. It's never going to be a 2 or a 3. There might have been a couple. No, actually, I cleansed the palate by giving Eaton McDonald's a bad review because it's kind of like punching someone in the dark. It's a victimless crime.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I can say it's crap coffee, and like the 15-year-old who made it isn't going to get emotionally upset. They're like, oh no, I don't fucking care. Like,
I don't remember listening to that one actually.
Yeah, and it's funny because that got the most amount of like response from people because people love a bitch. You know what I mean? They love like having a whinge about something. So it's like, cool, we'll do McDonald's. But then, I mean, there was a few places that I reviewed their coffee that it was like, you know, whether it was the little things, like I'm a real big fan of a good cup and a good lid. You know what I mean? Like most of coffee is a drinking experience. It's like, if you're going to give me a fucking paper lid, what do you want me to say? You know? It's like, obviously someone who doesn't really take coffee seriously made the decision to go paper lids. And you want to say, oh, well, you know, the biodegradable shit. Dude, every single bit of meat from Coles is wrapped in plastic. Everything that you buy from Coles is and Woolworths is in plastic. Like the fucking... okay, the world's ending. Who cares? You know what I mean?
It's funny you say that. We tried the paper lids for a little bit in Picton and
people stopped coming.
Like,
simple as that.
They're like, no, like my lips get stuck to it, it's stained, it's gross.
It's as if people give a fuck.
Right?
And you know, going back to the original point, you know, when you're reviewing something in a place that is so small, it's like... it's a mix of like you're hurting the business's feelings, and like the people kind of, whether they do or not, I believe people listen to me when it comes to coffee because I had a coffee van, because it's contextual to my brand. So it's like if I say you've got bad coffee, I can actually almost affect the bottom line of your business in a way. You know,
like your 5,000 followers might go, oh, I'm not going back there again because he said so.
Correct, and even if it's 100 of them, that's a lot of customers. You know. And, you know, a lot of times they'll, you know, in 6 months' time, they forget why they stopped going and they go back. But still 6 months, it's like, well, what does that equal for that one customer?
And that's never your purpose either. Like.
Yeah, my purpose was to generate conversation and to talk about black ink at the heart of it. You know? Which, looking at it from this far out, what a fucking move that was.
Very smart.
I can't believe how well that did, you know? But on that note, I actually was trying to organically bring this up in the conversation because I wanted to speak about it. So... this isn't exactly contextual what we're talking about. But I've kind of backed off Instagram lately, hey? I feel like it was a stepping stone almost for the business. I feel like it's a job of its own. You know, 100%. You would know, creating content, posting consistently, contextually. It's crazy, you know? And like you get to a certain point where there's a line between giving so much that your actual product suffers and like your experience as the person creating the thing suffers. And it's not going to bring any more people through the door. It's not going to bring any more attention. It's just at a point where people go like, oh, he's saturated. He's just doing the you know, not necessarily the same thing, but I'm like sick of hearing his voice. I'm sick of hearing this perspective, you know? So I feel like I've had to kind of pull away from it a bit just to like let myself breathe and like actualize what's going on. And I feel like the last good things that I did was the coffee reviews, you know? So it's like kind of going like, what was the value there? The value was a conversation. The value was like, oh, I know that cafe and I know that coffee and I know those people. So it's I don't know. I've been debating with myself and the people around me the real value of social media. You know?
It's like, it becomes a little bit of a vicious cycle too, because like, I'm sure you're probably thinking now, it's like, cool, I created this really awesome thing. What do I do next to up that?
Correct.
And it's like, then you almost feel like you let yourself down if you can't up that. And then it's like, even us, for example, like we're doing our own socials and things, like we don't do other paid advertising or anything. So it's solely that or word of mouth. And then it's like, okay, then if you get really busy for a week and you post it on Monday, the next post is until like the following Tuesday, you're like, oh shit, like
pretty much happens weekly.
Yeah, which happens weekly because you just get so engrossed in what you're doing and like busy, and then you're like, oh, like are we missing people because we're not doing this? But like, no, we're getting busier. So where's the like? Is this word of mouth bigger? Is this more important?
It's like, and I've never earned more money than what I am right now, and I'm doing the least amount of social media. So like, what's the formula? You know what I mean? And then you realize it's exactly what you say. You know, the 3 biggest jobs that I've had in the past, like say 60 days, have all been such and such told me to come to you. It's like, oh, okay. Do I focus more on a referral system? Do I try and add value to the person who's giving, you know, these referrals to? How, you know, is there something kind of there? Or instead of spending, like real talk, I might spend 10 hours a week on content. If I spend 2 hours a week going to social events Do I get the same response? If I go to Fitzy's for 3 hours on a Saturday night, do I get more exposure than doing 15 pieces of content?
100%.
It's crazy.
And like we were speaking about this earlier, this is why, you know, a portion of why we go to these events and we go to these networking things like the business camps, young people in business, the Chamber of Commerce stuff, is that for us in our space as a cafe, we have one good interaction with someone, they'll walk away and tell 5 people, 4 people, 1 person, whatever, and they'll go and tell someone else, and it's that ripple effect of our small interaction, like even just this, me talking to you, doing this, and then you walking away and saying, shit, we had a great chat with this person, right, they have this business, Little Spencer, and then they chat to the next person. Like, for us, that's huge, and we can get more value out of that than doing 10 social media posts, like you said.
Correct.
In a week. Like, we'll actually get people come in our door from that reference, from that person, versus someone in Perth seeing our socials and going, oh, cool, I might go there one day.
Yeah, yeah.
We want the return customer.
Yeah.
We want community.
Yeah, you want the routine.
Yeah.
You don't want the novelty visit. You want the person who's like, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I get coffee at Little Spencer. You know?
I think that's why we refuse to do any advertising or paid advertising. Like, we want that.
I think
real people.
The paid advertising is really good. Like, if you're selling a fidget spinner off Alibaba that you're drop shipping, like, for sure, spend $1 million on advertising. You're going to get it all back.
To Greg in Queensland.
I'm
never going to see him again. But.
Exactly. I think the 2 conversations there is, one of them is when I see something, and like, I think I made a post on the weekend about that car that I sign wrote, and that little formula of like, I look at the thing, and then I put the camera in, I'm like, whoa, and then I go back to the thing, and it's with the stickers now on. Like, I really like that. Like, it's like when the car first arrived, I'm like, oh, I know what I'm going to do with this. That piece of content will speak louder than the one where you sit there and you're like, oh, yesterday I posted about this, I better post about something, and then you're going through the camera roll, and then you're like looking up inspiration, and you know, it's like that content is nothing. It doesn't feel authentic. You know, there's no why in it, it's all what. So I think there's that. And then on the other side of things, the face value of, we go back to being the face of the business. It's like, you know, you go to the young people in business, you know, those fucking 40 people are like, oh, yep, they're the guys from Little Spencer. You know, all you need is 5 of them to go like, yeah, we're going to go on a coffee date on Wednesday. Where should we go? Oh, Little Spencer. Yeah, exactly. And then you get the walk in the door and the hello. And
you do, and then they slowly start, without realising, coming every week.
Right.
And then they're coming twice a week.
And the snake eats its tail.
Yeah, and then they're every day. It's pretty
interesting. Cool. I'll tell you, just on a final note on the Instagram thing, I'm at a point now where I like consciously feel the negativity from social media now. Like the constant like comparison. And like seeing my friends get better Harleys than me, like it fucking kills me. You know, it really, like, I'm at a point, I always thought that like, nah, it doesn't get to me. After 3 years of posting 3 times a day, every day, I'm fully like, I don't let myself go on Reels. I don't let myself go on YouTube Shorts or any of those fucking video things, because you just feel so shit afterwards.
It's a tunnel.
It is. Yeah. It is. You know, and you forget how good riding your push bike feels because you're so busy thinking, well, I'm not in New York where I can lane split and do wheelies in front of buses and that I'm not even going to go out today.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, just go out.
I think that's why we enjoy being so busy as well, is we don't have time to get lost in like Instagram and just doing all this time wasting stuff, is because we're focused and trying to get stuff done as well. So we're just constantly moving.
Do you have any hobbies between you?
Eating food.
The ultimate hobby.
Eating food. Literally, we go out, we eat food. Only days we eat 3 meals is on our days off.
And traveling.
And travel, and like we flip houses and stuff on the side and things.
That is the most low key. But we
flip houses.
I wish you had something that was so much less important than that you could have added on. So it's like, and I collect Hot Wheels. You know?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. How many houses have you been through?
7.
Just on to number 7. We just moved last week. Yeah. So.
Oh, I knew you would just move, but I didn't know you were on house 7. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So pretty much a healthy year of knowing each other.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Yeah, we've been together 6, but done 7.
Okay.
Pretty cool. Hold up.
How much was the first house that you bought? And
$243,000.
Yeah.
As a renovator in Warnbro.
Yeah, somewhere up in Baldivis area.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So does it work out to be a year in each house, or has there been shorter and
shorter?
Shorter and longer, yeah.
Our most recent house was
7 months.
7 months, yeah. That was in Australian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and we've done a few that we've lived in for 6-7 months, or like not at all, but most of the time it's about a year.
Interesting. So do you have like fuck all furniture and possessions because you're always moving?
No, every time we buy like a full fit out of a house.
Oh, really? Really?
Because like for us, it's about that end, like, and the quality of like real estate photos as well is like, it's not just our furniture, like someone who's looking at your house is imagining themselves in it as well. So,
so everything's always styled, like we fit the house out for the context of that house, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure you might lose money on the furniture, but you're also gaining money in the sale of the house as well.
Presentation.
The profit margins in property is like beats garage selling, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's also picking the right house, the right renovations, the right timing.
Okay, so the big piece that you left out here is that you know how to fucking do things in general.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of experience in going like, okay, that needs to be done, that needs to be done. So fitting out this new spot was actually something that you're very familiar with.
Yeah. That's why we were like, we can save so much us doing this ourselves. Like,
for what we did, probably would have cost us $200,000 to get done.
Yeah, wow. And we probably spent 5 on the like fit out plus like the rest.
Yeah. We probably spent maybe 60 grand all up.
Okay.
So saved a fair chunk of money there.
Equipment's a big cost, but like fit out, you can do it so cheaply. Off your own back.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, a big thing is like having the tools and like knowledge is obviously one thing, but it's like, we know we can do that because we have that thing that we got for that job that time. Yeah. Wow. So is that going to be an ongoing thing as well, do you think?
We just moved back into Bunbury, and that's a renovator. So we're doing going from a 2x1 to probably a 4x3. So that's just across from the beach, just
1 block up from the water.
So good.
So that's probably going to be our biggest project to date.
Yeah. So most of our renos have been like, I guess, cosmetic or gutting out a kitchen and laundry and refitting, but this is like adding 160 square meters to a house and like full landscaping, everything. So
it must be a fairly big block then.
666. Hard one to figure
out.
Yeah, big block.
That's almost a little fucking freaky, huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
So there's heaps of land behind the house at the moment. It's just empty. We're slowly clearing that to, I guess, to
expand. Build on. Man, you've fucking totally blown my mind. That's so interesting.
It's fun. It's like a nice little, like, different creative outlet.
Yeah.
You know, I guess it's like spending money on a hobby that actually, like, it's like investing money in a hobby that we make money off, kind of thing.
Well,
like
spending heaps of money on motorbikes doesn't do it for you.
No, I mean, sure, you get collectible bikes or whatever.
What's the difference between us going to put $100,000 in shares and getting 50 grand back from that over 10 years? Like, you do that with a house, like, depending on what market you're in, like
for sure. Though we're talking about a, like I'm in a position now where if I keep on the trajectory that I'm on, the next move is buying commercial property, because obviously commercial property you have no outgoings. The people who lease it, it's up to it's their responsibility to look after it and pay all the outgoings and all the shit. But I mean, you're also talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars at once.
Yes.
You know? And like I like those numbers have never really occurred to be real to me until really recently. So I think you've just kind of exposed yourself to that sort of like risk and reward, you know, super early, so now you're just comfortable with it.
The more you do, the less wild or the less scary it gets as well.
For sure.
Just it's probably part of every day.
Probably been a big reason why we are like we are, in the fact that with the houses, we literally walk into a house like you go in for an inspection, you look at it once and you're like, yeah, cool, I write an offer. You haven't seen anything, you haven't looked at like haven't had a building timber inspection, anything like that. Like you walk in, you just go, yeah, this is sick, like I'll buy this.
Funny, the one we just bought in Bunbury, we walked in there like, it was a Sunday afternoon. And obviously with the shop we were quite busy, so we didn't have time during the week to do it. So we're like, can we meet you back at the office now to sign the paperwork? And he was like,
don't you want a few days? It's like, no, like why? Like what's a few days going to do?
Now, we're fucking savage, let's go. I got my own pen, come on.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. So there'd also be a lot of, there's a little bit of visioning in there as well. You walk in and you're like, oh, that's fucked, we'll replace that. This cream sucks, we'll go white.
Yeah.
You know?
You can see where that like extension's going to go or how you're going to do that. Like,
and that comes back to like, having done it before as well. And now, as you said, being comfortable with knowing what needs to be done as well.
Yeah, and I guess the more you do it, the more equity you build. The more the banks trust you, the more the process is just like, oh, yep, we've been here, we've seen this. You don't walk into something that's seemingly just like collapsed. You're like, no, we're just in stage 2 of a 10-stage thing. This is fine. You know?
It's nothing.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not even the stage of walking into commercial properties yet to rent. But like, you know, I stand out the front, you look and you peer in the windows and you're like, I guess the printer would go over there. You know,
that's where you got to start though. Is like going past somewhere and looking and imagining yourself in that space as well.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and that whole kind of from stage 1 to stage 10. I mean, with my skate group, I see people coming, they're skating for the first time in 30 years, and you know they're doing the little wobbly thing, and they're like, "How the fuck do you do that?" It's like I've done this. Let's say, you know, every second day for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, like I just know what this is. I know what every little feeling is. And you'll say things like, I can tell that you're scrunching your toes up in your boot. And they go, yeah, I am. And you go, relax your toes. And they go, oh. And you're like, there's stage 2. You know? Now you can work on stage 3.
Life is a stage.
It's just all stages. Yeah. It's all stages. And also that stupid cliche thing of like, don't worry about stage 10. Just worry about getting real good at stage 2 today.
You'll be at stage 10 before you know it. You'll look back and be like, oh, fuck, I'm at stage 10. Like, what happened to stage 3, 4, and 5?
And you're like looking over the thing, you're like, is there a stage 11? And, oh, there's fucking 20 stages. Rightio. So if people want to find you digitally, where can they find you?
Our website, littlespencer.com.au.
And obviously the app.
That's the app, which you can literally just go to the
App Store,
Play Store or the Apple App Store as well. Just type in Little Spencer and you'll see us, first one to pop up. And socials, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, you're not on TikTok?
No, don't mess around with that.
I respect.
Don't have time.
Yeah, dude. TikTok is another language. Hey?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, very cool. And obviously, if they want to find you physically, it's down on Victoria Street.
Unit 5/10.
Victoria Guppy Park.
Yep.
Yeah.
What time do you open in the mornings?
5:30.
Damn, that's early.
Yeah.
That's so early.
The commitment to the summer sunrises.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
And if you want to find me, you know where to find me. It's Black Ink, Outfit Co, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all the rest. Be good to your mums because we are fucking out. Yo!
See ya.